Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We are live Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. And today we will be talking about managing your stress during the holidays, part 2. So you will learn how and what you need to be able to manage your stress. Learn the 3 principles of self-care to help you stay balanced and peaceful during the holidays. Techniques to simplify your holiday routine and reduce relationship stress so that you can focus on what really matters. And the number 1 mistake that can lead to burnout and how to avoid it. So join me today for all this and more. And I want to welcome all of you. And I see that we have Allie in the house. And I'm your host, Nancy Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive breakthrough expert. I combine my counseling, coaching, and intuitive abilities to transform your life. And this show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. It is for educational purposes only. And together, let's create a life you love. Okay. So continuing where we left off last week, and we talked about what stress is and the 3 different aspects of what happens when you are stressed out. You can go into aggressive mode, which is the fight reaction. Then there's the flight where you just want to run or avoid or hide, and that's flight mode. And then there's freeze where you just you shut down. And you are aware of what's happening, but you can't respond or react. The reaction is the shutdown. And somebody may say something to you and you want to say it back, but you can't because you're in freeze mode. Now, all of these are survival instincts, and the animal kingdom has them also. And it's what you learn to survive when you were growing up. However, what happens is you bring these survival instincts and you bring them into adulthood, and you're still reacting from that place. And when you're in chronic mode, that means that you're in that constant state of that stress reaction. So if you're always feeling angry and irritable and snappy at people, then you're in the aggressive mode. If you go into fear and you just want to flee and hide and stay under the covers, you're in flight mode. And when you're in freeze, you want to move forward, or you want to take action, and you can't because you're shut down. And so we're going to be talking about how to support you during the holidays and all year round. because these are important principles to know for you in your life. And just to give, so we're all on the same page, if I bring up your conscious mind, which is the part of you that tuned in today. So thank you, conscious mind of you, yours, of yous. Your conscious mind is the one that empowers you to make decisions. It makes us different than the animal kingdom because with conscious choice, we make decisions that can empower us and make a difference in our lives. And that's the power of your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time that is recorded every moment that you have been alive, and also includes past life memories and ancestral memories as well. And yes, those all can affect you, but know that you can heal it all. And that's what your job is, to work on healing yourself so that you change those subconscious patterns. Most of them, though, are from your childhood. So no matter how good or bad your parents were, all of us, every single one of us has limiting beliefs and emotions and perhaps trauma patterns that keep us stuck in certain modes time and time again. And then you have your superconscious mind, which, and I'll get to Misty's question in a sec, your superconscious mind is the part of you, your higher self, that wise, unconditionally loving part of you, your soul, the core energy essence of who you are, and the universe, your guides, angels, beings of light. All of them are here to help you and support you. And when you're in a higher level of consciousness, when you're responding from a very conscious, clear place, there is an alignment of conscious, subconscious, and superconscious minds so that you can make decisions and take actions from this higher place of being. And that's how you want to move through the holidays and all year long. Okay, so we'll get more into that. Misty has a question. Does the conscious mind go on automatic, and how does that work? Okay, so what happens is your conscious mind, when you are going on automatic, you are actually in subconscious mind. When anything in automatic mode is your subconscious mind. And it's when you become aware and conscious of perhaps a pattern that you've had or something that you're doing that maybe you don't want to do anymore, or maybe you do, but it's becoming conscious of it in any moment of time. It's your conscious mind is when you come out of automatic mode into a conscious awareness state. And when you're in that state, that empowers you to be able to make very clear, conscious decisions and choices, which can really make a difference in your life and make the changes that you want to make and really alter your path. So that's why your conscious mind coming out of automatic into very conscious awareness is so important and so powerful. Okay, Misty. How and why are we able to slip between the two? So what happens is your subconscious, we actually slip between the two or three as you start gaining more and more higher level consciousness. you actually can go in and out of all three states. And what happens is your subconscious mind. I want you all to remember that you have done whatever you need to do to survive in this world. And the stress reaction itself is from the beginning of humanity. We have the stress reaction in order to save our lives. So if you needed to go into fight mode to save yourself or save your family or save your community, you would go into that. If you needed to flee the saber-toothed tiger, you would run away. And your higher state of consciousness is those higher aspects of self, is learning to bring all of those states of consciousness together to come into alignment. It's when you're meditating or praying or you've achieved, or inspirational reading, or when you feel inspired and empowered, you're in that state. When you're feeling peaceful or love or joy, you're in the higher states of consciousness. So we can move between all of them. It's like, like the waves. So, but what happens is we can easily slip back into subconscious patterns, because those are our automatic patterns where it's easy. It's our default mode. It's what we've learned. It's what we've known, and it's our default. And so it's so easy to slip back into the automatic pattern. And that's what happens during the holidays, during times when you're with your family. You may feel really adult. I mean, you may be in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. It doesn't matter how old you are. When you're with your family of origin, and what that means is the family you grew up with. So it could be your parents, it could be your siblings. You can easily go back to the default pattern, go into automatic. And when you go into automatic, you may end up what I call regressing. Going back to an earlier state, going back to, let's say, childhood mode. So you're reacting and you're realizing, and if you become aware, okay, now this is really the important, crucial point here. When you're in automatic and when you're in the default pattern, you're reacting. You're just an automatic. But as soon as you become conscious and aware, oh, I'm reacting in automatic. I'm behaving with my siblings or my parents or parent like I used to when I was a kid. And you know what? I don't want to be like that. Let me come back into adult. So maybe you could do it in the moment, breathing, grounding yourself, like feeling your breath, feeling your feet, and coming back. Maybe you need to excuse yourself and go to the bathroom and do some breathing and grounding exercises to come back to present time. That's the key. Because when you're in regression, you are in your past. Okay? Now, if you're in worry, you're in the future. What are they going to say? Or what if I don't do this? And if you're in that mode, you're actually in the future. So what the most important thing is that you come back to present time. And you do that by grounding, by breathing, by feeling your body, by feeling your feet. That means you have gained conscious awareness, and you're making a conscious decision to become present so that you can respond to your family from a very conscious, clear adult and / higher self Because if you're coming from a more loving space than a fear space, then you can be more in your higher self. And when you come into that place, you have used your conscious mind very clearly, very strongly to empower yourself. That's why our conscious minds are so important, because it's what distinguishes us from continually being on automatic, like the animal kingdom, and empowering ourselves to be a more conscious, powerful, empowered human being. Okay, so I know we have more questions that came in. Anastasia, are those embedded in a place we can't control? Okay, embedded. I think it's embedded. So yes, what happens is when you are in reaction mode, when you are on automatic, it is in a place where it's your default pattern. You just react. You are in reaction. So when you're with your family and all of a sudden you're feeling really small, or you start feeling really angry, or you start feeling really fearful, you can feel a host of feelings. You are reacting from that default pattern, that automatic pattern. And it is embedded. It's just part of your nervous system, of your subconscious. But as soon as you gain conscious awareness, oh, I'm in this place right now, then you can empower yourself to make a decision to change it. That's why that conscious awareness is so important. And so, yes, you can't control the reactions that you have. And yes, you can empower yourself by coming to conscious awareness and making the changes. Okay? So you can't control the reaction, but you can control what you do when you make that conscious decision. So if you're in a family, your family, and you're all of a sudden feeling like you're reacting like you used to, and you don't want to do that, breathe, become present, become aware, and ask yourself, how do I choose to be in this moment? How do I really want to respond to my family rather than react to them? So again, ask yourself the question, how do I choose to be with my family now in this moment? How do I choose to respond to them? Okay, so ask yourself those questions. How do I choose to be in this moment with my family? And how do I choose to respond to them? Okay, really important. And the more you become that, more that you have that conscious awareness, the more empowered you are to make the conscious changes you want and to make those empowering decisions that can change how you are in your family gathering. Choose to have a good time. Choose to have fun with your family. Choose to put arguments and disagreements on hold to a later time where you can go to a relative, a sibling, a parent, and say, let's have a discussion and make a time when it works for both of you, not during a holiday gathering. Okay? All of this are choices that empower you and that will really help you have a better holiday gathering. Okay. Next question, Charles. Charles, do we control the automatic mode? Okay, so I'll just review what I said. You can't control the automatic mode. It's just automatic. It just happens. Every single human being, All right. So it's not just you, it's all of us. As a species, we go on automatic. Originally, it was to protect ourselves. And interestingly enough, we still do that as a self-protection. But what happens is that it becomes a chronic state. And that's when we need to start changing it, making those conscious decisions so that you go from the automatic mode to taking your power back and making a conscious choice. This is how I choose to be. Now, I also want to give you some words that are really powerful. When you say, I have to, you are in automatic mode. It disempowers you. Saying, I have to do this, or I have to do that, or I have to go to my family. Any of those that have to's really disempower you. Instead of saying, I have to, say, I choose to. I choose to have fun at my family gathering. I choose to enjoy my family and my friends. I choose to enjoy this holiday season. I choose to be grateful for what I do have. All of that are your choices. And when you make the choice, you empower yourself. Really important, really powerful. And so, no, you can't control automatic. And yes, you can make a conscious decision to take your power back. That's the power of using your conscious mind. Okay, next question. Anastasia says, darn autocorrect. Darn autocorrect. Country Corners Gazette. Is the default a bad place to be in? Okay, so here. Is the default pattern a bad place to be in? It depends. Okay, so remember, your default pattern is what you have needed to survive. Now, if the survival is a healthy pattern, then no, it's fine. But more often than not, we've learned unhealthy patterns or patterns that are not serving us anymore. So maybe they may not be unhealthy or healthy. They may be somewhere in the middle, but it's not serving us anymore. See, when you become inspired and empowered and are living an inspired and empowered life, you're making conscious decisions that take you from that automatic to how do I choose to be? Who do I choose to want to be? And so it's not a bad place to be in the default pattern. It's just something that is. And it's not about going to the default pattern because we all do it. It's what happens when you're in it. Are you going to make the choice or become consciously aware? Now, listen, this is a journey and a process, okay? This isn't something like, boom, it happens automatic. And who knows, sometimes it may because you've been in process and learning. But if you start coming consciously aware, even some of the time that you've gone into automatic, this show has made a difference. And you can even hear my voice. Thank you. Because even some of the time, if you are saying, oh, wow, what am I doing? How am I acting? Is this who I want to be? You've come out of the default pattern just in becoming aware and starting to question. And so it's really powerful. It's really powerful to be able to do that. Very important, very powerful. And so just know that all of you have this ability. You all have it. Okay? So Misty asks, how many people don't have conscious awareness? So I really believe that, there are people that may not have conscious awareness, people that may have emotional or mental disabilities. And so they may not have that ability to have conscious awareness. And it also depends on the level of the disability. Okay, so, and there are other factors. I don't know the exact numbers. But the most important thing is that most of us, okay, most of us, if we have a conscious mind, which we do, most of us do, you have the ability to come into conscious awareness. So all of you have that ability. If you're listening to this show, my hunch is that you have this ability, and I really want to support you in practicing it. So even if you go into default, automatic, conscious awareness. So you can have automatic, conscious awareness, automatic, conscious awareness. I want you to know those moments of conscious awareness are really important and really powerful, especially when you're in relationships with your family of origin, relationships with your family of creation. Because you know what might also happen is you may go into old patterns with a spouse, a boyfriend or girlfriend, a child, an adult child, because all of your relationships can trigger. And what I mean by trigger, I mean you go on automatic to old patterns of behavior. So it doesn't matter if you're dealing with your family of origin or your family of creation, you can easily go on automatic. And so what I want you to know is when you empower yourself, you reduce your stress. When you become consciously aware, it empowers you to make decisions of how you want to be and who you want to be in your relationships, which totally changes your stress reaction to a healthier state of being. Okay, really important. So I really want to support all of you in doing that. Country Corners Gazette. Can you explain that? Can you explain that being in the future and past thing again? Sure. Okay, so what happens is when you're in a relationship or when you're in a situation, and we're taking the holiday dinners or holiday gatherings, for example, because that's what we're talking about right now. And you are noticing. Let's say you walked into the situation and you're in a good mood and you're feeling really excited to see your family. And let's say what happens, and you have all your siblings there, and one of your siblings really triggers you. Okay, they may say or do something, and all of a sudden you notice that you get really angry at that sibling or at a parent that's not doing anything or saying anything. You have reacted, you've gotten triggered, and you're not in present time, you're in the past. Or if, let's say, a parent or a sibling says or does something and you start getting a lot of fear and you start feeling maybe small or intimidated, you've been triggered. You're not in present time. You're in the past. You're reacting, whether you're angry or you're in fear. Or maybe they shamed you. Very often in family gatherings, sometimes one of the parents or siblings shames you for doing or saying something or something that you've done. Or maybe they bring up an old memory that really was embarrassing for you. And you don't really want to bring it up again, but the family gathering, they bring it up again, and you start feeling really small. You really don't like being reminded of the story. And so what happens is when you've regressed to that earlier state, angry, fear, shame, guilt, embarrassment, any of those emotions, you're not in present time. You're reacting from your past. And so that means you're in your past, you're not in present time. When you go into worry and worrying about the future, like what if this, or what if the whole family starts going off like, what's going to happen next year? Oh my God, what if? You're in the future. You are not in present time. Okay. And so what happens is you're going off into the past or the future. And your job is to become consciously aware that you've gone into old patterns of the past or the future and come back to conscious awareness and work on coming present to right here, right now. What if, imagine a scenario where your family is going on a tangent and they're worrying about the future. What if you were the one to bring your family back and say, what if we all empowered ourselves to be who we really are and make the changes that we want in our lives and in this country and in this world? What if we were to do that? Imagine how you could be the leader in your family, perhaps as you have before, or perhaps for the first time. What would that be like? Just saying, giving you ideas. And I also want to let you know that we have a meditation that will really support you, a meditation or a PDF. And we're going to get to more questions after I talk about my meditation. We'll get to more questions, more information. So the meditation is really a way to help clear your energy, to help you to connect that part of yourself, your higher self, and to make your best decisions. And to download the meditation, to get the meditation or the PDF, if you don't want to do a meditation, but you want to read about it, go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. Again, inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. It's the name of the show, .com/meditation, MEDITATION, meditation. And I support you in downloading that meditation because it can really make a difference for you. Okay, so let's get to more of the questions. And Rebel, when you get a chance, wow, we got lots of questions. And if for some reason we don't get to them all today, I want you to know I will take all the questions. And the next couple of weeks, it's the holidays, okay? So when we come back, we'll be answering more of your questions because they're all great questions, Want to thank you for asking them. So Charles asked, but to avoid the disagreement, both parties have to be in the awareness, and that is not the situation most of the time. So Charles, what I want you to know is that you can be the change maker. So even if both parties are not in awareness or not in adult mode or higher self mode, you still can make changes by how you handle them, how you respond to them from that adult place. And yes, it's much easier to have a conversation with someone who is also in conscious awareness and in an adult mode at the same time. But sometimes what happens is when you're in adult mode, you can actually help the other person come to adult mode. And then you can both be in adult mode, or how you talk to the other person can really make a big difference. So know that you can make a huge difference on how you are being with the other person. So what I want to support you in remembering is when you are being the adult and you go to the other person, if there is a disagreement, and say, let's be a truce today, and let's figure out a time for us to meet at another time. Now, I also want you to know that the person who is doing more of the growth work, the fact that you're listening to this show, thank you for you, and thank you for all of us, because you are making a difference. You are becoming more conscious. And the person that is more conscious and aware actually can help lead the way. And so you go to the person and you say, okay, so I would like to, let's put it on hold. Let's find a time so we can talk. And then when you get back together, when you find the time, perhaps after the holidays, where you come together to talk, you start with healthy communication language, which is I felt when, the behavior, not the person. Never you a person. You are so stupid, or you were such an idiot when you did this, or you're such a jerk. You do that, you put the person on defense. Healthy behavior is when you are saying, when you did this behavior, I felt, or I felt when you did this behavior. Okay, so that's healthy communication. And then what might be even better is to start with what you care about them or love about them. And then you talk about the part that was upsetting, and then you want to end on a positive note. Now, there are some people that you're not going to be able to talk like this. If they are really shut down, or they're really obnoxious or aggressive, and you don't think there's any chance that you can even have a conversation. Now, sometimes you may be surprised, but sometimes if you know that this is not going to go anywhere, then you need to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. So if somebody's being really aggressive, then you need to do like walk out of the room, take a walk out of the house or the apartment. You do what you need to do to take care of yourself so you feel safe emotionally and physically. Okay, that's priority. That's what I want to support you in doing. Okay, so it all depends on the person, the situation. And again, you may see if that's somebody that will be able to have a conversation with. It may surprise you, and you may be surprised by the conversation if you go with a curious, open mindset. Surprising things may happen. Now, If you start having a conversation and they shut you down or they be inappropriate, you say, nope, if you don't stop this, I'm not going to continue. Again, this is all boundaries and self-care and taking care of yourself. Okay. Really important for you during the holidays and all year through. Okay. Having a sense of humor is going to be really important during the holidays and all year through. It takes your power back. So you definitely want to make sure that you can feel a way of feeling lighter about the situation, maybe looking at it from a different perspective. All ways to take your power back. Okay. So Mickey asks, does that apply to work and other responsibilities? Can we really change, have to choose to? So the most important thing is becoming aware that you're in have to. Okay. And again, I want you all to know this is a journey. Okay. This is a journey. It's a process. It takes time. But the more conscious awareness you have, the more you'll be able to make those changes in language. Even, remember I said automatic. Oh, I just said have to. You know what? I'm going to change it to choose to. I have to go to this holiday event. You know what? I'm going to say I choose to go. I choose to be with my family because I love my family and I'm so grateful that I have a family to go to. So think of the things you're grateful for. And yes, it can work. But again, remember, it takes time to become more conscious and it's part of the journey. And just you having some awareness some of the times is part of the changes. And I really want to acknowledge you and congratulate you for being able to do that. That's huge. Even if you do it some of the time, it's better than doing it none of the time. So, no, starting in the journey is better than not being in the journey at all. Okay. So yes, it can work. And again, it takes conscious awareness. Okay. All right. And let me see. How do we know? Okay. So I know we have a lot more questions. So this is going to be the last question. And then, like I said, we have 2 weeks vacation and then the beginning of January we'll come back and I will answer the rest of the questions in the show that we have live. Okay. The next live show. So I just want you to know, I always answer your questions and I really appreciate you. I just want you to know how much I appreciate all of you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. And thank you for asking your questions. Okay. So how can we know, Anastasia asks, how can we know what is serving us and how much time do we have to give it to know the difference? So again, this is a process and this is a journey. All right. It's not a destination. We are always on the journey of growth. And even if you make little changes, and I've talked about this before, but imagine that there's a door and you take steps forward. And even if you take baby steps, every time you come to conscious awareness, make a decision, make changes, make choices, you have empowered yourself towards change. And it is a journey. It takes time. And know that every single one of you can do this. I want you to know that I really believe in you. And I believe that this is you're listening to the show because you want more conscious awareness. You want a more inspired and empowered life. You want to make changes. So even if you make one change in a series of 20 or 10 or whatever, one conscious awareness, and then maybe a conscious decision from, let's say, a have to a choose to, or maybe it's a conscious decision to say, take a breath. Nancy says, take a breath. You can even imagine hearing my voice. Take a breath, feel your feet, come back to present time. Imagine a little Nancy on your shoulder. Take a breath. Feel your feet. Come back to present time. All right? I'm going to leave you with that. And know that you have the ability to empower yourself by becoming consciously aware and making conscious decisions. Going from the have tos to the choose tos. Being in gratitude. Coming back to present time. If you start to notice that you're in the past or regressed, whether you're with your family or friends, whether you're family of origin or your family of creation, bring yourself back. Take a breather. Go to the bathroom. Just take a breather right in your seat, wherever you are. Come back to present time. You have the power to empower yourself to make the changes you seek. And yes, it is a journey. And it's a lifelong journey. And every step, even the baby steps, are part of the journey. And I want to wish you, all right, again, I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate all of you. And I wish you, all right, remember, we're live on Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern time, where you can listen to the podcast 24/7 on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and you can view us live on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Talk for TV channel, and W4WN. And I really want to wish you very, very happy holidays and a happy and healthy new year. Bye for now.